Hey everybody, my name is JP Leonard.
And I'm Tyler Arceneaux.
And you are watching or listening We're Dying Down Here.
Yeah, and this week we've got the gay queef himself. Mark Norman, everybody.
Marcus Normandy.
We did it. We're big time.
We got some great stories for you, plus some tidbits and all that.
Yeah, lots of good stuff this week. Stay tuned. Don't go nowhere.
Roll the intro. Me. And we're back. Tyler Arceneaux, how are we doing?
We're here in the beautiful Club 337. It is just as we left it, which was
disheveled and
2
destroyed.
weeks ago? I feel like it's been a while.
Yeah, 2 weeks ago, the 16th. Yeah. The couch is back in the green room. The couch disappeared. I don't know what happened.
It's hot in here right now.
It is.
It is like a boiler room.
Yeah.
This coffee's not helping.
You know, and we still got the weird Christmas tree you guys can't see. We'll
it's not even lit up anymore. Like, so it's not only is it the worst Christmas tree ever, but now it's not even bright or festive.
This is sad.
It's just a sad, leaning, phallic Christmas tree.
Oh, boy.
Yep.
Well, thank you for watching. Good night. No. Tyler, what's been up, buddy?
Been doing a lot of stuff, man. Dude, I have to. This first story is going to be kind of me eating a little bit of crow.
That's a crow.
Yeah, I did a gig opening up for Josh Watts at Boomtown Casino in Harvey, Louisiana.
Harvey Weinstein.
Harvey Keitel. I don't know. Can we just do? Is this just going to be our podcast now?
Yeah, that's it. That's it.
Yeah. So. What was interesting about this show is that there was an expectation to work PG-13. And I bitched, even though I accepted to do it, admittedly, bitched and complained and was salty and had a negative attitude towards it.
You gotta watch that salt with the blood pressure.
And boy, do I have blood and pressure. High PSI inside of me. No, but I was being, for lack of a better term, a bitch about the whole situation. I really was. I was complaining a lot, even though I accepted it, right? So this is me learning something, right? Coming, almost like a small coming-of-age tale for this 10-year comedian here.
Growing up.
But my problem was, my original mindset, my negativity stems from the fact that asking me to work PG-13, I felt like it was going to handicap me because in my eyes, my 4 best jokes, any kind of closer or opener that I have is dirty as all hell and cannot be cleaned up. Not one of those dirty jokes like if you heard Caitlin was talking on our podcast, Caitlin Palufo, about how she just changes a couple words and all of a sudden the joke is clean.
Yeah.
That's not what we're talking about here. We're talking about jokes that are written about the word pussy. We're talking about jokes where I talk about cum.
Sing along if you know the words.
From
guys.
start to finish,
Yes.
right? There's just no way to make some of this stuff PG-13. So that's where my negativity stemmed from. But I have been doing a lot of work on comedy over the last year. A lot of the new stuff I've been writing is clean, and I didn't even really realize it, right? So when I started to put a 15-minute set list together and I was leaving out some of these dirtier jokes, I was still able to piece all 15 together. So as soon as I put the set list together, I actually felt like almost like a sigh of relief. I was like, well, maybe I can do this. So
for those of you who don't know, like this, I've done one in Baton Rouge, same company that books the one where you did, and basically you get an email and it says PG-13, no F words.
No F word.
And I'm like, there's so many other words you could say other than F word. And which F word? But anyway, we know which one, the 4-letter one.
Yeah.
And then, but when I did the room in Baton Rouge, I've done it twice. The main guy who books all the stuff, he goes, it's all adults, 21 plus, do whatever you want, you know. But I get it, you know. You don't want, because you getting old ladies who are gambling, they get free tickets, you know, when they don't hit on the slots.
And like, so I heard that, and multiple people, including Josh himself, reassured me that it was going to be okay. But it's almost like because of that email I got that day, it like tore any kind of like little wind. It kind of took the wind out of my sails for a little bit. But honestly, I put on a smiley face. I rode up there with our buddy Brock White Lyons.
Yep.
And oddly enough, we needed a host for the show because there was no host. So Brock got to prepare 5 minutes, open up. It was his first showcase.
That's crazy, dude. That's crazy.
This is his first showcase. Yeah, awesome, right? Right place, right time. This has happened to me before. I mean, come on, it's great.
It happened to you again, so we'll say that after the thing.
He was literally just coming to ride with me. I asked everyone in our small circle of friends if anybody wanted to come ride with me.
Did he ride like the wind?
I actually used that as my intro at the casino too.
Yeah.
But yeah. Brock got to do a set. Brock was great.
Yeah.
Brock was like a little personal assistant. Brock ran errands for Josh when we got. I mean, dude, as though the casino.
Josh sleeves.
As though the. He straightened his mohawk. As though the casino wasn't already treating Josh and us.
Yeah.
Honestly, like $1 million. Josh's picture was everywhere.
Yeah.
I mean, they had. Billboards up of every corner you turned in the casino was a picture of this man doing this. It was incredible. And they were really, really nice to us. There's a beautiful green room with some nice furniture. Green room, just like a backstage area, really. But, Brock walked out there and they had audio issues to begin with. So his set kind of was weird.
Was it a wireless mic?
No, it wasn't.
Oh, good. Okay.
But he did have to deal with, actually, I actually don't remember.
First time I did that run was a wireless.
It might have been
cut out on 2 punchlines.
Oh my god.
Yeah, that's fun.
But it just wasn't turned on at all. And what was really funny is beforehand we were like, "Hey, do we need to do a sound check?" Guy was like, "No, man, we're ready to rock and roll." Gets up there, mic's not on. So Brock is just this is his first showcase. He's hosting. He's never done hosting duties for anything. But honestly, handled it like a consummate professional.
Nice.
He worked through it. He got the crowd giggling. He told him some zingers. He did about 2.5 tight and got the fuck out of there. Brought me on stage. I got into it. They started laughing at me out the gates. I was...
Before you said something?
They looked at me and they were like, "Look at this. This joke. This clown." They were so warm and welcoming and I was real cognizant of like my cussing, and I wasn't saying I was. There was multiple moments where I was like, "Oh, I gotta say." I usually say "fuck" here. What do I say? So I just on the fly making some quick decisions. The only thing that I think was real memorable about my set. I mean, I did pretty well. I wouldn't say tore the house down, but like way exceeded my expectations.
Yeah.
I mean, I crushed. Josh killed. Like, Josh came in after me and swept up. Wow. But I did what I needed to do, and I proved a lot to myself. At the very end of the set, I was trying to remember what it was that I wrote down for a closer. And so I'm talking to the microphone, and I'm like, "Hey guys, I'm building up towards my closer here, just trying to remember what I'm." Listen, you know what? You guys need to understand. I got an email today, and that email said I had to work PG-13, and I wasn't allowed to say the F word. And you could hear people in the audience like kind of moaning and groaning, and somebody in the front row goes, "Why?" And I looked at him and I said, "Sir, they don't trust you. They don't trust you. One minute you're saying the F word. Next minute, you're fucking animals." It's a slippery slope, sir. So that got a big pop, right at the end. Because I kind of realized that nobody really gave a fuck.
No.
Nobody was there to actually give a fuck.
Yeah.
I did a clean set minus that. And I did my closer, got out of there, brought Josh up. Josh cleaned house.
Awesome.
Yeah, that was just, it was great, man. But... learning, constantly learning.
Yeah.
I think that you have to be open to that, because if you walk around these streets, these comedy streets, with a closed mindset, like you know it all, or like you've conquered everything there is to conquer already. It's just not true, man. You got to be prepared to learn something every single day.
Man, that same night I was supposed to be on the Shane Torres show in Houma, but that got rerouted. And so that's pushed back to a later date. But earlier that week, I got to go to Lake Charles.
Oh yeah, what'd you do? Monday night show out there?
I did it Monday. Yeah, I did headline the feature spot for the mic, and it was a rough night.
For who? For everybody?
For everybody.
Yeah.
I mean, it was just one of those, just weird nights. But there was a lot of comics, a lot of Beaumont comics. But just kind of.
They've been coming out more.
Yeah,
they came out to your mic last week that you missed.
Yeah. Oh yeah, that I missed. Thank you. But yeah, it was a little struggle. Well, I mean, it wasn't horrible. It was just it was a work. And then I didn't have anything else that week. And then we both met on the Saturday for the almighty Sean Patton.
Man,
yeah, which you're gonna see that. You'll see that interview in a few more episodes.
What a strong! I mean, dude,
the
show was insane.
Yeah. So it was. Who was on the show? I think I hosted. Yeah.
Isaac.
Oh,
me, Isaac, and Sean.
It was such a weird weekend because Isaac broke down, and so me, and then you, and then Isaac, and then Sean, and then we had a great hang after. We went to the old cafe cottage and just to the wee hours. But yeah, man, Sean Patton's. There's a reason he's one of my favorites. We had a great talk. The interview was great, but the show, just watching him work.
That was my favorite I've ever seen him perform.
Yeah,
I'm not gonna. I mean, I love Sean. I love his material, top to bottom. I've loved his albums. I love his special. I've seen him. He was one of the first couple national comedians I opened up for. But this hour,
yeah,
dude, there was something special about this.
I would say it's my second favorite because I said on the interview, Bedwetter, that tour was my favorite ever. And I got to see it 4 nights in a row. It was amazing. But this one was great. And I don't even want to talk about the show. I figure we can talk about when his episode comes out.
Sure.
But the hang after is the best.
He is his insight into comedy and his willingness to open up about his opinions, and he has some strong feelings and strong opinions on this art form.
Yeah, I mean he's been at it for a long time, and he's one of the best, and I think we all agree that he should be a god.
I think he has undoubtedly crept up well into my top 10, probably close to my top 5. I mean, he's incredible. He was walking people at the end of his show, but in a good way. It's hard to explain. There were people not on board because of what he was talking about in the crowd, but it's one of those things where you would expect a lot more people to get up and walk out. But that's a kind of a testament to how good he is.
I don't even remember what it was, but
it's the abortion stuff.
Oh,
I mean, he closes with this long, but it's so good. And if you stick in there and you listen, then it's funny. Doesn't matter what you think.
That's the point we always say. It's like the people who get upset at shows, you shouldn't be at a show because it's all jokes. That's what it is.
It all comes from the same place. Patrice O'Neill said this the best, and he's like, you got to give within reason. This is definitely not an absolute. It's a general statement. But you got to give people the bandwidth to fuck up.
Yeah.
Because a joke that is funny and a joke that is not funny all come from the same place. And the only time people are offended is when they don't laugh.
Yeah.
And just because it didn't land doesn't mean that he was trying to hurt your feelings, doesn't mean he was trying to be racist or he might be out of touch.
Yeah,
he might be tone deaf to your views of the world, and that's fine. And that's a separate discussion, but we got to allow people the bandwidth to, fuck up and try stuff. A lot of comedies it's weird. Comedy's kind of trying to find out where that line is, and some comedians are more willing to cross that line.
I think we're getting back to the things you can't say era. It was like the key words and the things like that. But it's getting back to being still serious, but you still got the goofiness. Like, hey, this is not like I'll talk about it like our group chats. No one's serious in there, but if you read it, oh my God, we would be crucified.
Yeah, the amount of people that I've talked about murdering is probably crazy.
Yeah,
I mean, I had an inside joke that went on for months about trying to kill Sarah Tolomesh, which is totally not true. I just wanted her spot, guys.
Yeah.
I want to open for Joe List. I want to be married to Joe List.
Well, guys, it's been a good run. No. All right. So that was our thing. Do we drop the bomb? Are we ready to talk about the big interview we did?
Yeah, man, I think so. I think so. I mean, without burying the lead, this guy is, whether you like his comedy or not, there is something admirable about somebody who is turned on all the time.
Never
This
stops.
guy, he is the same person on stage, on a podcast, behind the scenes, in person.
In the car.
I mean, in the car.
In the green room.
Talking to waitresses, talking to checkout people, shaking hands with fans. He is the same person, and there's something admirable about that consistency.
Yep. So let's roll into it. This is our interview with Mark Norman.
Markifer Normalton.
Mark Norman, everybody.
Markelson McDonaldfer.
It's still Mark Norman.
Kevin Hart.
Kevin Hart.
All right, let's do it.
All right, everyone. Thank you for tuning in to We're Dying Down Here. This is the first episode we have not done in Club 337 because we're in beautiful Shreveport, Louisiana.
On location in Mark Norman's hotel room.
Mark Norman's hotel room.
Oh, yeah.
Guys, settle down.
Room
Sorry.
69.
Room 69. There's 12-year-olds.
What?
It's a baker's dozen. Sorry. But no, we're here. Me and Tyler.
I needed those Girl Scout cookies.
That's right. Thin mints. Am I right? We're here in Shreveport. We did the Strand Theatre tonight. Tyler was up first, then I middled, and then I think you headlined. Is that what you call it?
Yeah.
We should have switched it around.
I know JP looks like a bottom, but he middled tonight.
Yeah.
ZZ
right.
Bottom. You know what I'm saying?
Come on, man. Mark, how are you?
Hey, good. We did a good run. We drove 6 hours from Birmingham.
6.5.
6.5. We stopped for barbecue.
Yeah.
Ooh.
And, this has been great. 2 killer shows.
Yeah.
And Shreveport. Who knew? It was a banger.
Yeah. Me and Mark and Will Foskey
Yes.
did Birmingham last night. Killer,
Yep.
beautiful theater. God.
Oh, yeah.
What a beautiful theater.
Beautiful theater, bad town.
Well, all right.
Ugly town.
Hey, follow us, Birmingham.
Yeah.
And then we drove in today, and Tyler met us, and then we did the Strand Theatre here in lovely Shreveport. Mm-hmm. What a hot crowd.
So many white people, too. Was there more white people tonight or last night?
Probably tonight. Well, they drove in from the burbs.
Yeah.
Well, that's the thing is like, these towns, the downtown area tends to be very urban, and then you go out and it gets a little more honky-fied.
I saw them one time at Lollapalooza, honky five.
Oh, yeah.
Second stage. They were great. All right. So, Mark.
But we had black people there at the show.
Yeah.
There was one. I saw one.
They were cleaning, but they were there. I'm joking. No, we had a couple POCs.
Thank you for tuning in to We Might Be Canceled. No. So let's bring it back to Lafayette, which we're not there, but you've done Lafayette Club 337 numerous times,
Countless.
multiple times.
So
right out
many.
of COVID, you did 5 shows in 2 days.
Oh,
I remember
is that right? Wow.
Yeah, because we're like very limited capacity.
Yeah.
We had you back in maybe 2016 or 17 was the first one. We had you one more time after that. Then we had you 3 days before you did Out to Lunch.
Oh, that's right. I had to run that out.
Yeah.
It was like a quick one, right? That was the last minute one?
No. That was kind of in advance. And then and then COVID shut everything down. Then we had you a couple times. We had you after COVID. We did those 5 shows in 2 days. And then we had you at least 2 more times. We did
I love
maybe
that
3.
Room. Been there. That was the best room in Louisiana. I always say, love that room. JP kills it. Well, it's run by a comic, so you know what to do. Plus, at the DoubleTree, you get free cookies.
Yeah.
And the only thing good about COVID shows were it was limited capacity, so you could sell out.
Yeah.
You know, you're like, look at me, I sold out a show, and you're like, well, there's 40 people here.
Yeah. It's
spread out.
2 people wearing masks and an umbrella. But
yeah, right.
no, those are great. And we had you this year. That was the last minute show.
Yeah, it was it was quick, right? It was
yeah,
like a week or two.
It was right
of
before the
heads up.
special, right before the Netflix special. Because
Oh,
you were
soup to
running.
nuts.
Yeah. So we did two shows in one night. That was bonkers.
Yeah, that was wild.
Yeah. And so Soup to Nuts on Netflix, great special.
Hey, thanks.
I'm a Tuesdays with Stories nerd.
Hey, it's all
Tuesday.
You're
I'm a Tuesday, 2 straight. And then We Might Be Drunk, which is amazing.
Yeah,
Oh,
I love
dang.
that
Well,
podcast.
it's real
Yeah.
comedy nerd shit.
That's why I
Yeah.
like it, honestly.
Okay.
That's my. I do listen to both, but we might be drunk. Y'all start talking about people's bits, and
Yeah.
I love that.
Oh,
That's
okay.
my shit.
You're the one. Cause
Yeah,
it
I'm-
gets really, it's
You
real
worry about
inside.
that?
I do, yeah, because, well, me and Sam are just comedy nerd psychos, and we wrote together for 10 years and all this. Now we're writing a movie. It's a whole thing, but
Yeah.
we get drunk on this show, and then you just want to talk comedy.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, in the beginning, we have to keep it a little, like, surface level. Hey, how was your weekend? What's your wife up to? You still gay? All right. How about Biden? Huh? He fell down. You know, Trump's in jail, whatever. And then you're like, you get 2 cocktails, and you're like, oh, did you see that Nick Mullen special or whatever, you know? And it all comes out.
Yeah. By the way, probably one of my top favorite. We talked about
Year
this.
of the Dragon,
Yeah.
so good,
Very
Yeah,
good.
so good.
so good.
Nick Mullen, funny guy.
And y'all released Bodega Cat, which is
Mm-hmm.
I've killed a bottle. It's great.
Thank you.
A beautiful whiskey.
It's a hell of a rye. I appreciate it. We're trying to get into bars, and that's basically what the movie's about. It's about trying to sell this whiskey.
Oh shit!
Yeah,
Nice.
a little sneak peek for the folks at home.
Is it It's not like a biography or not a doc or something, huh? Is
No, it's just a comedy. It's like an
Got
80s throwback raunchy comedy, but with us as the
Here's the title: Catcher in the Rye.
Ooh, not bad, not bad.
Wait, Bottom in the Rye.
Hey,
There we go.
It's better than all the rye moves.
it? Ooh. Is that the working title? 'Cause that's
No,
not
I just
good.
thought of that.
You've got the rye one, baby.
Yeah,
I like it. Let the rye one in.
Hey,
Little vampire.
You're a rye sexual.
Oh, and rye? No. What?
Wait, what?
Oh boy.
Mark, I got to tell you a story.
Schindler's Rye. Okay, sorry. Go ahead.
That
whenever.
doesn't even match
Yeah,
up.
I know. That's just
All right.
me.
I gotta tell a quick Mark Norman story.
Uh-oh.
Mark did something before we ever met. I tell people this all the time. It's like one of my like go-to stories.
Just when I banged your mom?
No, this was
Shout
later.
out. All right.
It was a bunch of comedians in New Orleans for no particular reason show at Tipitinas.
Oh yes.
For your bachelor party?
For the wedding.
Right, the
pre-wedding,
wedding.
Yeah.
So at one point before the show started, you had come out of the green room and grabbed JP. I was with JP, by the way. You had grabbed JP and was like, "Hey, come on back. Joe's back there. You know, Sean's back there. Come say hello." And JP like gestures over to me and goes, "Hey, I'm with my friend." And you literally you do this. You like look at me and you're like,
Well, in my defense, I thought you were Kevin James. And I was like, I don't know about this guy.
And guess what? I left him and I went backstage.
I took a sad selfie and I was like, JP's hanging with his New York friends. No,
Survival of the fattest,
I
buddy.
tell that story all the time.
Oh, sorry. Well, hey, next time you're coming in there.
Easy, but you know.
The I think the more fun one though, and you may not remember this, you were pretty drunk, was at Skankfest this year. You had come up to the roulette table.
Yes.
And I was sitting down and I had a big stack of chips, and you were like, "Man, where did you get all those chips from?" And I jokingly said, "I got a system." And you stood behind me, sat next to me, played roulette, and everybody that came up, you were like, "This guy's got a system."
It was a bag of Doritos. Those are the chips. But no,
it was Ozempic.
yeah.
Purple Doritos
I remember
are
that.
my weakness.
I think
You do?
the Are You Garbage guys might have been there.
I think they were like, yeah.
That was a late night too.
Yeah.
Well, that's the problem with the Skankfest, which was awesome. I mean, it was so fun, but you're staying in a casino. So you go out all night, you hit a strip club, then you hit a bar, and then you go home. You're like, all right, I'm being a good boy. I'm going home. Oh, there's a craps
Yeah.
table in my living room. So you had to
Jesus.
gamble all night.
Yeah, I loved it because what ended up happening was like you were Like a lot of comedians were walking up to you wanting to talk to you, and you just kept going like, "Hey, have you met this guy?" And you're like pawning them off on me.
Get it off me.
And I got to meet a lot of people that way.
Oh,
so
great!
It was great.
Well, you must have been way up. You were cleaning up on chips.
I was. Well, what it was you had $5 chips and I had $1 chips, but they didn't look that different. But you didn't know. You thought I had $5 chips, so you kept going. This guy's got a system.
Yeah.
I was just like, I had $100 buy-in. I was working with.
System of a Downs.
Oh,
babe. All right, let's go to commercial.
The pun gun is out today.
All right, so we've talked about this before, never on the podcast, because it's our first podcast, but you live in New Orleans, you live in Baton Rouge, right? Did you live in Baton Rouge?
I did.
Yeah. And then your first time doing an open mic was in Lafayette.
Yep.
307 Jazz and Blues Club.
Yep.
R.I.P.
Club 307?
Huh?
That was Club 307?
Yeah, 307 Jazz and Blues Club. And then that was your first time. And so let's bring
was that
back
an open mic?
Yeah.
Yeah, it was open mic. Yeah.
Who was running comedy back then in Lafayette?
I remember the guy's look. I can't remember his name. He was a super skinny, wiggery guy. Like skinny, had glasses, long hair.
So there was DJ Special Ed, or a.k.a. Handsome Lance.
Maybe. I
Big
don't know.
Ern Boudreaux?
I remember
Ern
those
Boudreaux,
names.
Trevor Chapman.
Trevor Chapman.
Yeah.
He kind of looks like you, honestly.
Really?
Yeah, you'd be like, is this comedy?
That wasn't him then.
Yeah.
He didn't look like me.
Nah.
He was a little ratty kind of guy, but I still remember that night. I was so nervous. I chugged a bunch of vodka, and I remember we did a pre-mic huddle. Like, all right, everybody, this is how it's going to go. You put your name in a bucket or whatever. They pulled the name. You're going to go first, second. The guy had a clipboard. And I remember loving it instantly. Like, this is great. Oh, my God, I'm part of something. And I got to pick fifth or something. Good spot. Supposed to do 4 minutes, 5 minutes. I've told the story before, but they lit me. I didn't know what a light was. So I just...
Many of our comics don't.
Yeah, that's true. But I'm white. And I was just like, oh, there's a guy. I thought it was like a Van Halen thing with like a lighter. I was like, oh, I'm killing. And then they cut my mic. And I was like, well, hey, the show must go on. I got to be a professional. So I just started screaming my bit. And then the guy is at the side of the stage like, get the fuck off the stage. And I was like, oh, geez, all right. And I got off.
And look at you now.
Yeah. No one told me the rules.
So you were living in Baton Rouge at the time?
Mm-hmm.
And then what did you do after that? Was there anything in Baton Rouge at the time?
There was a show or a mic at a place downtown that I forgot about. We did the Station.
That's still going on.
Is that still
we
going?
do it. I
Still?
did it last Wednesday.
Get out of that was a great room.
It still is.
We're bringing Stone versus Drunk versus Sober in January to the station.
Hell yeah.
January
It's still
12th
going?
or something like that.
That was a hot one. There was a
In
place
January, yeah.
place on Governor Street behind a record store. I don't know if that's still going, but the Station was hot. We would drive to Lafayette. We'd drive to Lucy's Surfer Bar in New Orleans.
Yeah.
Then I eventually moved to New Orleans and started doing more shows there. La Nuit, all those shows. But the Station was hot.
I remember the downfall of La Nuit.
Oh, yeah.
That was right when I started, and then they had like a whole... They used to have a comedy festival, and they had a whole, like...
Yeah.
They lost it, though.
Who were some of the New Orleans comedians?
Oh, man, we had a good
Was Sean
group.
Patton there yet?
We had Sean Patton was like the guy.
Awesome.
But every now and then you got a Theo sighting.
Theo, all
When
right.
Theo was on Road Rules, so it was like TV. We're all just working bar comics. He had been on TV, and that was like, oh shit! It was like Elvis. Theo's here, and he always had a hot lady with him, and he had an act. Like he would go up. I remember one of his jokes. I hope he's not gonna get mad at this.
We're tagging him, but go ahead.
But he goes, yeah, I was a little sick the other day. My buddy goes, hey, you're a little under the weather, and he was like, aren't we all under the weather? And I remember being like, this guy's a genius,
What happened to Theo?
He did pretty well for himself,
Okay, all
actually.
right.
He's doing great. He's famous and rich. He's doing
What a
quite
queef.
well. His hair got longer. But yeah,
Just
so
in the back.
just the back, yeah. Just the back, ma'am. But yeah, so that was then we all moved to New York.
All right, so that kind of leads us to the next thing. So this is called We're Dying Down Here. So me and Tyler, we're doing comedy in a non-comedy place. We're the only time we really get to just shines when people come through. People are bringing the DoubleTree and all that.
Who haven't you had? I mean, it's like Kyle Kinane, Nate Bargatze, Tom Segura.
Todd Berry.
You want me to name
Todd
him?
Berry. No, I mean, I'm just
No,
an
I'll
Eddie
name him.
He does this
Pepitone.
every episode. Please don't let him.
Let's call him out.
No, he doesn't.
I've never
Just give
had
me the big ones.
that I've never had.
Oh, never had. I'm talking about who you've had.
No, I'm tagging him in this. I'm trying to get him
Okay.
here,
David Tell.
but-
I
yeah,
want Dan
that's
Soder. Can we get Dan
Soder.
We'll get Soder in
We
there.
need Soder.
Big J,
Oh,
Well, he'll do it.
oh, fuck.
Chad Daniels,
He would do it.
Sam Morrell. He won't do it anymore.
He's too big.
He's getting pretty big. And not a lot of Jew love down in Lafayette.
Not a lot of Jew hate either because they're not
yeah,
there.
that's
you
true,
know?
that's
It's-
true.
You
It's
can't
like
hate
a,
something that don't exist.
yeah,
So
it's a
Wow.
catch-22.
20 Jew. Anyway. All right. Thank
Now
you.
we're fucking podcasting.
Now we're killing it,
Yeah.
dude. Roll the tape. We call this podcast "We're Dying Down Here," and it's basically like, play on you dying on stage, but like this is our existence. Tyler has a kid. He's got a job. I have 2 kids and a wife and a job, and unless we uproot, this is our reality of trying to do comedy in a non-comedy town and everything. So, for you, when did you decide to make the move from New Orleans to New York? When did you decide, like, this is it, in order to bring it to the next level, I had to do that?
Well, I was hanging out with Zach Sims, Neil Stasny, and Sean Patton had already made the move.
Yeah.
So he was like, "Get your asses up here. If you really want to go for it, there's New Orleans. Let's be honest, there's a ceiling. Mm-hmm. You're not going to get from here to here, so you got to get out."
It's a FEMA tent, but go ahead.
Yeah, and so I've always wanted to live there, and I went to film school in New York for 10 minutes. So I said, "Fuck it, I'll go back up there." I'll go to my film school and ask to get a job because I knew everybody there. Got a shitty apartment in Crown Heights, Brooklyn, which is way out. Got mugged 3 times. Worked at the film school and did open mics all day, every day. And that was it.
What was the point that you're like, were you at a point where, like, this is it for me, this is my ceiling in New Orleans, or were you kind of like, let's just explore?
Well, there's a thing in life where, first of all, I feel like I exacerbated. Is that
Yes.
the word?
That sounds good.
I feel like I exacerbated the whole state of Louisiana. I drove here, I drove there, I go to Lafayette, I go to Baton Rouge, I go back to New Orleans, I go to Monroe, whatever it was. You go to Houston for a gig, and I feel like I worked that whole area, and I was like, I've done it. What else is out there? So I had to move to New York. I've always wanted to live in New York, and I wanted to go for it. And I think this is something that young people should know. It's good to have nothing going on in your life. Like, my back was against the cliff. I was a loser. I had no prospect. I had failed out of 3 colleges. My parents were like, you're hopeless. I was rudderless. I had nothing going on. So when I found something I actually enjoyed and cared about, I said, I'm going all in. I got nothing else to live for. Comedy's something, and I went for it. And that's why I went to New York.
Damn.
Because even if you fail in New York, at least you're in New York.
Yeah.
I'm failing. I work in a shitty cubicle. I'm doing open mics at night. I'm bombing. I have no money. But I could be living at my parents' house. So I figure this is better than that.
And pizza.
And you got the pizza.
Were you ever close to coming back?
No, I never.
Not even close.
That never even crossed my mind.
Good.
Like this quitting thing. I
Good.
was like, I'll just keep going. Because even if you're a non-working comedian, like a what do you call it? Where you're living only off comedy, you're still having a day job and doing comedy.
Yeah.
Which is better than just having a day job.
Yeah. So when did you move there? What year?
06.
And then
07.
07, after Katrina and everything. So how long did it take you before you started getting like I'm calling showcases, book shows?
Ooh, it took a while. I had to do a lot of finagling. Like clubs, it's so hard to break into clubs. So one move I did was I told a club, hey, I'm doing a Letterman set. This is how long ago this was. I'm doing a Letterman set, so can I run 5? And the club was like, oh, this guy's about to be on Letterman. That's a TV credit. Yeah, we'll let you run 5. And I lied. I had no Letterman connection. But I got on and I did my 5, and at that point my 5 was cooking. That's all I had was 5. And so they were like, oh, this guy's about to do Letterman. He had a good 5. We'll just pass him. So that was one way I got passed.
What club was that?
That was Stand Up New York.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, which is not what it used to be. But, these clubs go in and out of business kind of thing. But, yeah, so now I'm in one club. Now you're in one club, so you can go to another club and go, hey, I'm in at Stand Up New York. How do I get in here? blah, blah, blah. And then you get one credit. I got on Conan. That was huge. I was 29 years old.
You did Conan, what, like
9 times.
9 times, okay.
Jesus.
Yeah. But that was the first one. He had me on every year after that.
Crazy.
So, yeah. Just work. It's all incremental little steps. It's almost like, when you see a kid and he's got the notches on the door jamb for how tall he's getting? That's what comedy felt like. You don't feel like you're getting taller, but you are. You just got to keep going.
What was your next break after that?
Conan, and then I started opening for Amy Schumer.
Yeah.
I was a janitor, so I felt like Clark Kent. I'm
my
mopping
God.
floors, I'm cleaning toilet bowls, literally toilet bowls, and then at night I'm doing these big rooms with her.
You just put a bomber jacket on at night and you transform into a comedian.
That's what it felt like. Like I go into the phone booth and
a little dark eyeshadow like a goth.
And I transitioned.
Which I saw you with her at the Singer, which
oh yeah,
I didn't even know if I was doing comedy then. Like it
was
was
that's crazy.
Yeah, it was
New
great.
Orleans.
We also did the Mahalia Jackson. Hannibal opened.
Oh, I didn't see that.
Theo
one.
did a guest set. I
Jesus.
middled, and then she went on.
Never heard of any of these people.
Yeah.
Wow.
So what was the next step, the progression after that? When did you let's talk about when you got past the Cellars, the Mecca in New York. When did you get past there?
Eventually, she got me in at the Cellar after a couple of years opening for her. I never asked. She did it on her own, which I really appreciate. And then once you're into the Cellar, you're like, all right, now I'm working every night, all night. And then you get a little road stuff here. And to me, the key is getting on the road.
Yeah.
Everybody wants to get in the Cellar or wants to conquer New York. New York's great, but I think you got to use New York to build material, and I think you got to get out on the road to the real people. Because I see New York comics who are killers, and then you put them in Cleveland, and they bomb. So you got to be able to adapt.
Is it just because they're not doing comedy for real people?
Yes.
Yeah.
Exactly. And it's a lot of I'm half bi and part Egyptian, and people in Columbus, Ohio are like, we don't care.
Man,
Why
I've
is that
seen
funny?
that. I saw that at the riot in Houston, as a matter of fact. There were 2 New York comedians doing guest sets up top, and they were I don't even remember their names, but they just came in, and it was very New York comedy, and the room was not having it.
Yeah.
And I got in right after them, and I just lit the place on fire, and they were like, how did you do? They didn't even watch my set. They were just like, how did you do? And I was like, this was great room. They were just bitching the whole time.
I'm
and
by
I was like, this
Gibson.
is the best.
Yeah.
This is one of the best rooms in the South.
There you go. Well, New York's all about, this is who I am, and I feel like on the road it's all about this is what you want.
Yeah.
Does that make sense? New York comics, a lot of them are like, this is my story, this is my identity, and the crowd in
Poughkeepsie.
Knoxville or whatever, they just want we just want to laugh.
Yeah.
We don't care about you unless you are funny.
So when you started doing the road, did you have any representation, or was just you kind of booking yourself? Like when you were doing steady weekends?
Well, eventually I would send out tapes VHS tapes, and eventually I got a manager, and a manager led to an agent, and then so on and so on. And these are rough gigs. I'm talking Bonkers with a Z, Looney Bins.
We literally do Bonkers.
Oh, really?
Both of us have done Bonkers
great.
recently.
Well, you should.
They just started a
thing.
thing at casinos. So I did the very first Bonkers with Tommy T. Ray Bergeron. Shout out.
There you go.
With your shirt. We did the very first one at LaBerge in Baton Rouge, and then there's one they kind of go into casinos. It's like a weekly show. And then Tyler just did one with Josh Watts
at
huge piece of
Boomtown
shit.
Casino.
Boomtown in New Orleans, yeah.
Nice.
But they're kind of coming into the mix now. But yeah, they're just booking all over. But
it was a clean show. I have to try to eat crow because I bitched about this. So I was like, I'm fucking clean.
It's always eating with you.
I don't want.
Sorry.
No, don't be sorry.
All right,
Please
pull it up, J-Mo. No, sorry, wrong
fucking
podcast.
cheers. Don't be sorry. No, it's all I just bitched so much about having to work clean. I was like,
It's
I can't
hard.
believe I don't want to do this. But then I just did it, and it was fine.
Yeah.
I did well, and afterward I was like, well, I feel silly now for bitching so much.
And it's a good challenge.
It
You're
is,
let's see if I can do it.
yeah, got to eat some crow.
So how much time did you do clean?
15.
That's impressive.
Yeah, because I have about another 20 or 30 that's not. So it was
opposite.
it was it was crazy. I found every little nugget of clean material I had and pieced it together.
Good for you, because like I opened for Seinfeld and I had to pull together like a couple albums. Like I'll do that joke, I'll do that joke, because clean doesn't just mean no cursing, no sex. It's like content. Like, you can't be like, so.
See, I got lucky there.
Brian Regan's like no religion, no politics.
Yeah.
No gay.
It wasn't that clean.
No gay,
this was more. This was described as PG-13, no F words.
Okay, got it.
No F words and no pussy, which hurts me so much because I say pussy so much.
Yeah.
So right before COVID, I had to do 15 clean with Jim Brewer at the Hard Rock in Biloxi. And I was like, how do I just call dicks wieners? And I was just like, what do I do? Like, that's a big part of this joke, you know? And it was the horriblest thing.
It kind of makes you get creative.
Yeah.
Because you can't say dicks, you got to say wee-wee or something.
Yeah.
And wee-wee's kind of funnier than dick.
I say it's my bird.
Yeah. All right. There you go. Bird works.
Bird's the word.
Bert Kreischer.
Jesus Christ. Tagging him.
Larry Bert Kreischer.
And then so you went to a weekend headliner, and then
I mean, I featured for a while.
Yeah.
But yeah, then you moved to headliner.
Then a headliner, and then let's talk about the jump to theaters, which you're at now, which is huge. Like,
I never thought it would happen.
What was your first theater headliner gig?
I think I did I forgot the Agora in Cleveland. First theater I ever did, and it's such a weird jump because theaters are so different. There's no check spot. There's no chicken wings. They're there to see you. I did a bunch of papered rooms at Funny Bones all over the country, so they're like, it's just a family with a camo hat and a fat wife. Like, who's this? He better be good. And they're eating like a full steak in there, you know? And you got to like appeal to everyone, which I think every comic should kind of do. Like, that's why these bonkers gigs, they're a bitch, they're tough. But if you learn how to appeal to everyone, I think that's the biggest skill in comedy. That's the best tool in your tool belt. Because we all want to be ourselves, but if you can learn how to get strangers and be you, you've won the game.
Yeah, I always feel like it's short-sighted when people like take this like I'm too good of an artist approach. Like I want to make half the room laugh and half the room upset with me.
Yeah.
What the fuck are you talking about?
Totally.
No.
But like a Tarantino movie, you watch Pulp Fiction, everybody loves Pulp Fiction.
Yeah.
It's a weird movie. It's so him. It's he could only write that movie, but we all like it.
Yeah.
You know, and that's the key. Is like making it accessible to everyone, but also you got to be you.
Yeah. So now you're doing theaters. What's the next step for you? Like you got the specials. You got Out to Lunch, that was on YouTube. You got Soup to Nuts, that's on Netflix. Which, by the way, like congratulations, because like Netflix almost kind of stopped doing stand up for a while. It felt like,
totally.
Yeah, but now they're back.
Now they're back. Now they're vengeance. They're giving everybody what's special now.
Yeah.
But
so what's the next step for you? Like, what do you?
Well, that's the thing. People keep asking me that, and I love this level. That's the hard part. If you're like, what's next? I'm like, I'd like to just stay here for 10 years if I could.
So I know you did the tour with Bert. How, like, what's that feel like doing arenas, stadiums?
It's insane. Well, that's the cool part about this spot I'm in is like I'm friends with Bert, I'm friends with Rogan, I'm friends with Louis, I'm friends with all these Seinfeld. I can like jump in and out of these amazing opportunities. So the Fully Loaded is just pure fun.
Yeah.
Bert sells the tickets. Bert books everything. He brings the truck. He brings the food. He brings the slip and slide and the beer. And I just get on the bus, do my show, get drunk, and sleep. So it's fucking great. But the arenas, I get to do 20 minutes. You just bring the heat, A-game. You get to rip it open, and it's like you, Stavros, Chad Daniels, Ralph Barboza, Andrew Santino, Big J. Just a great group, and it's just the best. It's a hell of a time. But arenas are fun to... I would never want to sell one because I don't think I ever could. But just to jump in, do your 20, and get out, nothing better.
It's amazing.
Yeah. We saw Bert at Cajun Dome.
There you go.
It's like 5,500, 6,000 people maybe.
Yeah.
Mark Smalls and Shane Torres opened for him.
Oh,
yeah,
that
was
nice.
killer.
Love Shane.
Yeah, so good.
I was
Shout out
actually
to Shane
surprised. I feel like both of us were.
Yeah.
We didn't necessarily weren't the biggest fans of Bert's comedy. Not that we weren't. It's just that, I'm making a top 5, Bert wasn't on it.
Sure.
But like I walked out of there I felt like we got every bit of that show.
He puts on a show,
Dude,
and he's
incredible.
So good.
Not everybody's made for an arena,
Right.
And he's big enough
Yes.
to
He's
big enough,
bring
yeah,
it all
totally.
together.
And Shane Torres, shout out to him, one of my favorites, and his new special out, which is produced by Bert, which is amazing.
Blue-eyed Mexican.
Oh,
yeah,
very funny.
So good, man. So
Check that out.
Yeah.
Yeah, Bert's incredible because you forget he's like a 30-year vet. Like he did New York, he did LA, he did the clubs, he did
used
the
to do
road.
Comedy Skinny at one time.
Yeah. And now
With a
he's
shirt
back.
on. Yeah.
Yeah. Now he's back to skinny, which is weird. But either way, we would be in a parking lot doing something before the show, and his daughter got hit by a car on accident and like fell over, and she was fine. But he headlined at this. First of all, this 8 comics doing 20 minutes, and then Bert.
Jesus Christ.
And he's drinking, and then he would go on and he talked about his daughter getting hit by a car, and it's killing. And I'm like, this guy just opened with random bullshit that happened today in an arena, and it's murdering.
That's like when you get to we were talking about it earlier, when you get to a level where it's just stories, and it's just like, no matter what you say, it's going to kill because everyone's there for you.
Yeah.
Right.
But no, I mean, like, we both left there, and we're just like, holy shit, that was amazing.
He puts on a show.
Yeah, it was great.
Mm-hmm.
All right, I know you got a flight to catch, like, in a couple hours.
Yeah.
Anything, any plugs, anything you want to say?
I'd like to hear who you think the most underrated, underappreciated comedian is. Maybe not one, maybe a couple if you don't want to just list one. Who do you
Anyone
think?
not in the room.
Yeah.
All right,
Who do you
go
think
ahead.
is underappreciated?
Well, I think Chad Daniels is like this hidden gem.
That's one of his favorites.
Oh, really?
Fucking
Like
legend, man.
top 2, top 3 comedians is him.
Yeah.
Just put out an hour on YouTube. I don't know if you saw it.
And he's recording another one.
I heard. He's
Like,
got
it's
so
dumb.
much.
Well, he recorded 2 that night,
Yeah.
and then now he's got another one. It's ridiculous.
Well, I'll tell you about that second hour. I got a surprise for you.
boy.
But yeah, he's just so good. He's like this weird assassin who lives in the woods, and they have to call him like,
Yeah.
"We need you."
I love that.
He's got a lake house.
Yeah.
Like he's what we talk about. Like, you live in a place that's not comedy.
Yep.
You fly out on the
That's it.
weekends.
Yeah, that's the dream.
You come back. You got Monday through Thursday.
That's the dream.
Yeah.
2
yeah.
kids.
Where does he work out?
I think in Minneapolis.
Probably a Planet
That's
Fitness.
the dream. Like,
sorry.
well, this sounds gross.
I liked it.
Thank you.
I didn't catch it until a
Thank you.
second ago.
That's how smooth it was.
Yeah.
It's like your jokes. No one catches them.
Yeah. It's like my set tonight. Thank you. No.
But yeah, Chad Daniels is great. I think Kyle Kinane has got some. Obviously, he's got a fan base, but I think he's. I don't know why he's not huge.
Right,
He
I
should
agree.
be way bigger.
Yeah.
Then there's.
I own 4 of his shirts.
Oh well, there you go.
My old profile picture was me and my dog, and we each wearing a different of his shirts.
That's
like,
fun.
Kinane's my best.
Well, that's a little creepy, but yeah, no. But
It's
then
a
you got
female
like
dog, but-
guys like Anthony DeVito or
So good.
so good. There's a guy in New York named Sean Murphy.
so good.
Yeah, this guy Chris Allen is very funny. There's a bunch of funny guys out there or gals.
Yeah.
Like Maddie Weiner is great, and you'll see more of her.
Caitlin Palufo. Shout out again.
Palufo is a
Yeah,
killer.
I love Caitlin.
Yeah,
Beast,
there's
yeah.
a lot, but that's what's great about the internet. It's finally these funny people who, are struggling a little or can put it all out there to the world. So, it's hard to bitch now as a comic. Like, oh, they'll never find me and no one notices me. It's
Right.
like, well, just YouTube's right there.
Yeah, people like I'm always surprised that like when I find a new comedian and I go look at their YouTube and they have like 600,000 subscribers. Like Ryan Long, he's somebody. I love Ryan Long, but I just discovered him. And
Oh,
I don't
really?
understand how.
See, he's been around for
He's-
years.
He's got 500, 600,000 YouTube
Well, like-
subscribers. I've never heard of him till this year.
That's hilarious.
Will
Yeah.
Foskey middle last
Yeah,
night.
this is another
His
one.
special has 600,000+ on YouTube, and we're like,
Yeah.
how?
Yeah.
Like, what did you hack? Was it the Russians? I don't know. But
well, if it's good,
but
it's
yeah,
good.
Yeah, it was good, man.
Oh,
he's a
Louis
killer
Katz.
dude.
Louis Katz is a
Yeah.
funny comic.
Yeah.
He's got almost 1 million views on his YouTube.
Yeah, one of my favorites.
So yeah, a lot of underappreciated comics out there, but they'll pop. Everyone gets if it's good, it'll rise. The cream.
I agree. Yeah,
Cool.
the cream always rises to the
All
top.
right, he's doing
Yeah,
Macho
sorry.
Man again.
I like
Sorry.
that. That was great.
Well, thank you very much. Thank you for having us. I enjoyed the last 2 nights. It was amazing. MarkNormanComedy.com.
Yeah, for tickets.
For tickets, all that, Punch Up Live.
Yeah, we might be drunk. Tuesdays with stories.
Tuesday with
Soup
Stories.
to
Shout out
Nuts.
to Joe List. The the only podcast I religiously listen to is Tuesdays.
Wow.
I'm a Tuesday. It goes back. Just, y'all, two of my favorite comedians. Joe List is great. You're great. My favorite podcast in the world. One of the only Patreons I subscribe to.
Every time he works with you or Joe too, he like obsesses over whether y'all are going to mention him on that podcast or not. No, I'm joking.
And you always do.
He doesn't actually obsess over it, but when it happens, it's like we're all cheering. Like, we're JP Lafayette Comedy.
Yeah. It's like sleeping with a chick. She's like, well, I slept with Jason. It was pretty good. I'm like, what? Yeah.
Well, no one said that.
I just,
Stop lying.
All right.
You need your 15 minutes of fame. I just need 4 inches of fame. So that's all right, follow me. So Mark Norman, thank you very much.
Thank you.
We love you. You're gay. And
good to be here.
else.
Thanks for having. Let's leave the cameras running. We got the bed right here.
Oh boy.
We can go right into a whole nother video.
All right.
2 bears and 1 twink.
Beautiful.
That's it. We're done down here. Good night. Thank you.
Comedy.
And we are back.
We're back.
So just a thing up top. We had a little issue with one of the cameras. So if one of them looked a little blurry.
We almost should have said something beforehand, but
Yeah, I know. But one of us was. Both of us all 3 of us were kind of drinking a bit. So setting up a camera, push up. So this is how it went down. We got to do this because I was fortunate enough to do 2 nights at a theater with Mark Norman. So I went up the Thursday before the show. I stopped in Hattiesburg to kind of split up my drive on the way to Birmingham. Did an open mic at Southern Prohibition, which shout out Crowd Control. That's what I'm drinking now. They gave me a case of beer. So
is that hot beer that's been in the back of your truck for a week?
It's cool outside. But it's great. So anyway, so I did that, split up the drive. Then next day drove to Birmingham, got there. We were doing the Lyric Theater, which, beautiful, fully sold out show.
How many people?
800.
Okay.
800.
That's all right.
Yeah, it's okay. It's not our open mics, but it's okay. So we did that, and then while we were there, so Will Foskey formerly from Atlanta, now in New York, he featured. So I went first. Will featured, then Mark. Amazing show. Just the hospitality, everything was great. And then while we were sitting there, we were looking at the next day, and I was like, all right, what's tomorrow? He goes, all right, you could do 25, 30, and then me. And I was like, okay.
Well, also, just to set up a little bit more, at this point, Mark had already agreed to do our podcast.
Yes.
And I was driving to just come hang out and record the podcast, watch the show. I was going to be a stagehand.
So Jason being the great friend that he is, I said, well, Tyler's going to be there. I don't mind giving up some of my 30 so you can do a 10.
What a sweet way of admitting you don't have 30 minutes, Jason.
God damn it. I could have did 75, man. I would have went last.
75. What a weird number to choose.
I got to change 74, man. But no, I was like, well, Tyler's gonna be there. Like, let's do that. And then also, it's what you do. I was like, okay. He goes, yeah, absolutely. All right, cool. So you did 10, I did 20, and everything. So you were there. We met up, got in the hotel situated, and then we went to the Strand Theatre, Shreveport. 1,000+ people. Beautiful place. I mean, you can see our pictures on the Instagram and everything. But what a freaking hot tot show.
It was incredible. Mark Norman brought me out on stage, which, I know you got to experience that the night before, but that to me, it was crazy. It's like just when I think I've plateaued, the next something else happens.
Real quick, before we go to your walkout, let me tell you about my walkout the night before.
Oh yeah, all right. Okay. That was funny.
So they asked, what songs do you want? Okay, and I said, I don't know why I've been on a kick lately. Elvira by the Oak Ridge Boys. All right. So Mark does the big intro. Blah blah blah. I walk out, no music. Okay, I get to the mic. I'm like, well, that's fine, no music. And I said, hello, or whatever I dumbly say, and the mic was not turned on.
in front of 800 people.
In front of 800 sold out place.
Like, just
3
I'm
stories.
getting goosebumps just thinking about it.
I think Groucho Marx performed there. 3 stories. And I went in front of a theater, great acoustic, because I went, is this on? And the whole crowd was like, no. And I went, all right. And then I just sat there and I looked to the side and everyone's scurrying. And I yelled, like, talk amongst yourselves for a minute. And then the music came on.
Oh, no. Just out of nowhere. Like, all
just
you really needed was a microphone to come on.
Just Raw Dog and Elvira by the Oak Ridge Boys. And it was so funny. I'm glad, like, the audience laughed. They died laughing. They started clapping along to the beat, all on the downbeats. They're white. And I'm just sitting there like, And then finally the mic comes on, and I was like, hey, I'm one of the Oak Ridge Boys, or whatever. And then my first 20 seconds was me just, like, awkwardly trying to come out of that and process it, and they were with me. And then it was amazing. So, all right, so going back
I'm still trying to figure out how this mistake was made. Like, what kind of audio engineer is like, oh, the music's not playing, and then sees you walk out on stage, the microphone's not working.
Yeah.
Who still goes, let's get the music working
Let's get the
first?
music going.
What? Like, that's the worst.
But why wouldn't you turn the mic on?
I know, just turn the mic on, skip the music, right? But it ended up working. Because if he would have done it the correct way, it wouldn't have been as funny, probably.
Oh, no, I have good jokes.
Yeah.
But
yeah.
that's
not what I meant.
It was the
moment.
recovery.
Yeah.
So anyway. All right, so going back to you, the intro there.
Yeah, man, it was great to have somebody so popular right now. I mean, Mark is arguably one of the hottest comedians in the country.
Indeed,
He's
yeah.
getting bigger and bigger and bigger. And just to have him say my name correctly and bring me out on stage.
Right before he went up, he went, say that last name again.
Yeah.
I went, Arceneaux.
Did he really?
Yeah,
Nice.
he did.
I appreciate that. He's good looking out, Mark Norman.
Yeah.
So that was such an amazing moment. However, my intro music did not start right away.
No.
And
You put your drink down and the intro music started.
Not stubbornly, but like I'm just gonna have to be better about this. I really have in my head this vision of coming out to Christopher Cross, but like it's the opening is so long that you really need to be working with the sound engineer to time it right.
Wait, let me just stop everything right now. I've been playing Yacht Rock as the intro music for all Club 337 shows since I started here. And not once has anyone asked for that. And now this dude is rocking Christopher Cross.
And 100% credit to Neil Rubenstein. Like, Neil, like, I saw him come out to that song and I was like, that's it. That's my walk-up song.
I'm just happy that people were embracing my yacht rock.
Yes.
You know, that's all I want.
I like how the guy at the Strand didn't know that.
He knew Sailing.
But not.
I'm like, the most depressing song you can ever listen to by Christopher Cross, but you don't know, Ride Like the Wind.
You know? Come on, man.
Anyway.
What an incredible feeling, though, walking out to 1,000 people.
3-story. Just, oh God, it's the best. So you did your set. I think it went okay,
dude. I did very well. I feel like, and
that was sarcasm.
I have to be honest though, because this is my current feelings on this. But like, I don't think we could have failed that night.
No, if you fail at these shows, you should.
You haven't put in the work yet.
You have it.
Because, like, I mean, they were hanging on everything, like every tag. Like, you know, it's in my opinion, it's easier to make 1,000 people laugh than it is to make 11 people laugh.
Yeah.
And I
don't want to
that's my
experience
biggest
making 1,000 people not laugh.
God damn it.
Because, like, I've done, so this is the third official theater I've done with Mark. And then I've done, you know, a big like 1,000+ with Jim Brewer. I did 1,000+ with David Tell. And these have all been beautiful. But I would probably X myself off if I did not do well.
Dude, I can't imagine
that many people.
Yeah, like I'm serious. Like what it actually is, and Mark, me and Mark had an exchange after my set that I think was very telling. Of just I have the right mindset about this, and Mark was like, "Were you nervous?" And I was like, "Honestly, no. I didn't really know what to expect.
Yeah,
but I knew that I've put the work in to get here.
Yeah,
I deserve to be here. I truly believe that. And once I started saying jokes and realized that like literally every bullet point of my set that I think is funny, they laughed at.
Yeah.
I was like, well, shit, this is what it's all about.
I'm nervous until I get to the mic. Walking out, I'm like, don't trip. Put your shit on the stool. That's it. As soon as I grab the mic, unless the music doesn't work or the mic doesn't work, it's the best feeling in the world, you know.
I just tried to own that moment. That walk out on stage with the cheers. I mean, I put my hands out like I was Macho Man.
Yeah, you
bro.
came out like, I was like, don't take off your shirt. Please don't. Please don't take off your shirt.
Would never. Who am I? Bert Kreischer?
Bert Chrysler LeBaron?
Bert Chrysler of Baton Rouge?
Oh, no, you had a beautiful set, and it was like great. And I'm glad I got that little intro video. And then I'm sitting there, and then me and Mark are just walking behind the back curtain, backstage, pacing. And then you brought me out, and I had probably the funnest set I've ever had. And I knew I was so comfortable because I walked, like the two monitors there, I walked past them. I was going to the side. I was like Chris Rock. I was going to climb.
You normally just stand there, and you were,
Something
moving.
about that night was beautiful. And I like the more I walk to the side, I can see people over here, and it just like pops. And like I told y'all I told Mark this, when I got off stage, like in the middle of my set, I just thought to myself, I can do this for a living. Like, this is the greatest feeling.
Yeah,
now,
you know you're killing when in the middle of your set you have time to talk to yourself.
It was self-reflection.
Give yourself positive affirmation about what's happening in the moment.
I was like, good pants, good shoes,
killing it.
Your shirt, let's see, we'll get a better one. But God, yeah, it was amazing. And then we went sit in the back by the sound booth where the camera's at. Got to watch Mark the whole time. Also, I've never eaten that many carrots in my life in one sitting. But
it was broccoli for me. I ate a lot of raw broccoli.
And then, and so we're sitting there, and then Mark finishes, and so the lights come on, and we're packing up the camera, and then we have the whole bottom floor of the theater coming out, and everyone's just like, "Oh my God, y'all are great!" And I was just like,
"Yeah, it felt so good." Right?
If I had my own hotel room, they would have been damaged to towels that night. Just saying.
We made a mistake by not bringing stickers or something.
Yeah,
because the amount of people like shaking our hands, I should have been sliding to my Instagram handle. There
you go.
Like, what am I? It's crazy.
Anyway,
and then, but afterward, we continued. We podcasted, right? That's what you guys saw.
Yeah,
we got to hang out in Mark's room.
So that was in Mark's room, and because I he had more room in his room. Except for the one little camera, we were already a couple drinks in. We were feeling good. Daddy's drinking.
Oh, JP Leonard lost his identity that night.
Daddy's drinking bourbon on the rocks. Oh, no rocks. It was bourbon straight. So we did that after, gave the love to Mark, and then we got hit up by a bunch of local comics, like, come on out.
Yeah,
so
we were riding a high, too. It's hard to go from that to going to sleep. Mark's used to it.
I would have punched a cop that night. Like, what are you, a sergeant?
You would have. So you were frisky.
We go to this bar where I think it's a historic bar. I think it's where the first batch of meth was made. And
that's what it's known for?
No, I'm just making that up. You've seen the people in there. So we go in there. Everyone.
For the tiki bar.
The tiki bar. Oh, the mullets per person ratio there was very high.
Also, the guy Clyde who told us to go there
did not show up.
Yeah, and we knew that because we walked in and there was only white people there, and it looked like only white people were allowed there.
Yeah.
So we were like, this can't be the right place. Clyde would never tell us to come here.
So we're sitting there and we watched the band. Great little band, by the way. Two of them had mullets. One dude looked like he was on meth. The other guy can fix a Chevy. And but they were great. And then we're having a few drinks. Great bartender. And then we're like, Clyde, where you at? He's, we had to leave because whatever. We're at this bar. So he comes meet us. So he comes meet us and he brings us to that bar. And then I don't remember what that bar was. It was a live band. But he's like, I'm taking y'all here because you got to eat the mac and cheese with the barbecue brisket.
It was called Bears.
Bears.
That's what it was called.
Yeah, you got two bears, all right. Walked in there. And we walked by. I don't know if there was a cover. I wasn't paying it. I walked right in.
They checked our IDs.
I didn't even pull out my wallet.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
They were like,
I just killed in the theater.
You're their
man.
grandfather. Yeah. Go on in.
And then I proceeded to you said you bought me a beer. I don't remember that.
Yeah.
I don't remember who paid for food.
I did.
Oh, okay. Thank
yeah.
you. You were
No
great.
problem. No problem.
And then we ate, and then we watched the band, and then their last song.
They were an emo cover band.
Dude.
They were killing it. They were playing My Chemical Romance.
The Fallout Boy was the last one. And,
all kind of shit.
And then we left, and Clyde brought us back to the hotel.
Yeah, Clyde drove us, saved us an Uber ride. Hoo-wee.
And Daddy passed out.
You were Dunskies.
I was Dunskies. I had like 8 bourbons. No, I actually at the theater I had a double Hennessy.
What?
Yeah.
I've never seen you.
This is new Jason.
Look, I've been drinking with you for a while.
Well, because
who are you hanging out with? That is, you're drinking Hennessy.
Snoop Dogg was there, I think, or it's just a skinny dude trying to sell me crack. I went up and I was like, "What whiskey you have?" They're like Crown and Hennessy, and I was like Hennessy, and I was like, she's pouring it. She's like single. I was like, yeah. I was like, how much is a double? She's like 28. I'm like, make it a single. And she goes, I'm gonna give you a double on me since you opened it. And I was like, thank you.
Oh hell yeah.
And I was payad. And then woke up the next day. Nice headache.
Christmas Eve,
and then drove home.
It rained
3 hours.
all day. It rained the whole drive.
Drive.
It was tough.
I drove.
We passed each other up like 4 or 5 times on the. We left at different times, but we passed each other up. I stopped a couple times, but I kept.
I think I drove from Thursday to when we got back home. I think 1,200 miles.
Jesus
was
Christ!
My thing because it was like 7-8 hours to Birmingham. I split that up, and then from Birmingham to Shreveport was 6.5 hours. Plus we stopped for Amazing Barbecue. And then
Oh my God! What was the name of that place? You might as well shout it out. You don't remember?
I don't. I'll look it up later. I'll put it right here. It was like Terry's Barbecue in
Vicksburg, Mississippi.
Whatever. Oh, buddy. Yeah. Shout out to them. I'll tag you and just send me some brisket. But yeah. So I mean, what an amazing weekend. All I know is that hosting an open mic is gonna suck for both of us.
I'm doing it tonight. Like I leave here to go do that.
Yeah.
Hey.
But yeah,
I think it's a good time to go ahead and move on to everybody's favorite segment. Hack Watch. You want to kick us off? Do you have anything?
Yes. I want to go first.
Yes.
Even though I woke up with someone making a rude comment on my, sorry, not someone, a failed comedian / rapper making a rude comment on my Instagram this morning, which took me 2 minutes, and I just blocked all their stuff.
Failed comedian rapper.
Tyler, I'm riding so high off this Mark Norman weekend.
Can't say shit to me.
Performing in front of, let's say 2,000 people total.
Yeah, but you didn't earn it.
JP Leonard has no hack watch this week. I am going with the good graces of the Lord and Savior, whoever that is, George Burns, and I'm pulling back my resentment for people, and I'm trying. This is new JP Leonard. I'm trying to be very positive. I have no hack watch this week. Whoever you are, whatever you're doing, bless you, but I'm not complaining this week.
All right. They don't watch. There's 0% chance they watch this.
That's okay.
Whatever. I'm fucking complaining.
All right, here we go.
No, this isn't so much a complaint. It's a little bit of a complaint. But not about anybody specific. I think there is a common misconception about being booked that I'd just like to address.
Oh, good one. Good topic.
There is, I hear a lot of talk sometimes just through the grapevine, people using words like, oh, these people don't book a lot of comedians. These people don't book a lot of comedians. Oh, this city doesn't book a lot of comedians. And when I really start to listen to and start to ask questions to some of these people who are like, I'm not getting booked in X city so much. One of the very first things I ever ask someone is, well, what producers do you know there? What shows do you want to do? Have you reached out to the producers? Majority of the time, those
95%.
people tell me no.
Also, before you even hit up, go to that city, go watch a show, try to do something, just try to make those connections. That's what I did when I started. I didn't know who Baton Rouge and New Orleans was. I went to shows. I went to mics. You got to make those connections because it's easier than cold calling, you know?
And so, like, here's the reality. A lot of people have this weird misconception that there's some sort of honor in not asking to be booked. And it's bullshit. There's no honor in it. That's like saying, that's like spending all of your life working to become a mechanic. And then whenever it's time to put in a job, you just sit on your couch and you say, I'm the best mechanic. They should come to me. No, man.
Break down.
Take your resume.
Yeah.
Go put your take your resume.
Was that a backfire? I got this one. All right.
Your pistons are, I don't know, car stuff. You need to fix your radiator clutch.
Yeah.
Put your resume out there just like you would with a job application. If you here's the I don't want to jump the gun because you can't skip the part where you get good. Okay?
Oh, please
You
don't.
can't be delusional. You can't skip the part where you get good and then go ask to get booked. You can't have a shitty tape and go ask to get booked. You need to build a resume.
Yeah.
You need to build a skill set. And when you believe you deserve to get booked, go get booked.
You think we
Stop
want to
crying?
You think we want to open for 1,000+ people?
No.
We're building our resume, but sometimes.
You're making it seem like
Oh,
now the place I'm coming from is questionable.
oh yeah, my bad. Forget that. We want to get booked in front of 1,000+ people. I just say no a lot of the time because I've got shit to do.
I really do think, and this is not me. I don't want to call anyone out. I just think that it's an incorrect mindset people have adapted.
I'll tag them in the comments.
I just think it's an incorrect mindset.
Yeah.
I think you need to, because I mean, dude, when I'm not booked, like very rarely do out of town producers reach out to me.
No.
It's like, it's crazy. When people start complaining about not getting booked out of town, I don't reach out. I mean, I personally reach out to people and ask for gigs when I see that it's been long enough.
Yeah.
So
So
I've been away for like a couple months from that place or something. I'll just reach out to that producer
Yeah.
again and be like, hey, I'm here.
So for me, I'm a little different as a producer when I do my shows because we've always had a small talent pool. And to get a variety, I reach out to Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Houston, Austin. Hey, come here because I seek more. But like if you're trying to get booked in Austin and Houston and you're just waiting for a call, buddy, you got to wait all day because you're dealing with hundreds of comedians who are way better than you most probably, who have more reps under their belt because they're getting more reps because they're in these big markets, you know? So yeah, you've gotta make it, but you've gotta do the work. And it's not like about years. It's just about like
it's not
I'm
about
doing
years.
sets. I'm prepared. I can go into this place. Hey, I'm so and so. You know, blah blah blah. You know, I would love to do your show.
Yeah.
You know,
I like what you said about it's not about years. Because I think
totally.
that some people get hung up on that too, and maybe I do as well. But the truth is I mean, we're close friends with people who've been doing it a couple years, and they deserve to get booked more than they are.
Yeah.
You know, it's just about taking that time to build those relationships, put your tape I can't say this enough. And like some people might think this is outdated and antiquated. I actually think it's never been more important to have a good tape.
Oh my God, yeah.
It's just never, because you may not feel like this is a competition, but if you're adapting the mindset of you want to be booked, then it is.
So if you're a comic and you're trying to get booked and you don't have a good tape, that is on you because one, the technology's there. You can record an amazing video with your iPhone. Get you a good tripod. Get you a tripod for $30 off of Amazon that goes up 6 to 7 feet.
Or one of the ones that you can wrap around.
You can wrap
it around
place.
anything in the venue and put it up wherever you want.
And you don't film it in portrait. You film it in landscape.
That's right, yeah.
And also, if you're going up there, you're not going to be able to get any audio feed. There's little attachments you can buy on Amazon. It's a little mic you clip here, and it goes right to your phone. And so you get the best audio rather than dependent on the speakers. You're wearing a lapel mic, and you can also have the audio from the audience in there. Or so many people have cameras. I've never had cameras until... Plus,
you didn't see nothing.
There was no pause there. Plus, with the technology you have, like I never knew anything about video cameras. I bought a camera because I did a little research and I got an entry-level 4K mirrorless camera. Now I have 3. Bam, bam, bam.
The irony of that is like you were like, with the technology today, and then this camera breaks.
Yeah.
And we had to pause the podcast.
It's hot in here, so it overheated. So, yeah, you get that. So you can invest in that. But, again, if you've got a phone, it's probably really good. Or ask someone. Someone's probably got a nice camera. Hey, let me throw you $10 to record this, or let me borrow it or whatever like that. You need to take that. One, it may take you a few tries to get a really hot set.
That takes time.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a thing.
But like anyone who comes do Stoned versus Drunk over here, I record the sets. You're getting a 2-3 cam mix, beautiful audio, everything's perfect. As long as your set's great, you now have the best submission tape, and you've got to put it out there. But you got to know what you're doing with it.
Now, there is like a chicken and egg scenario with this that I understand. Some people are going to be like, well, I don't get to do Stone Drunk Sober. How do I get a tape so that I can do Stone Drunk Sober? My first tape wasn't from Jason's 4K cameras. It was from my Samsung Galaxy. My first tape, the tape that got me on a Skankfest was from my Samsung Galaxy. Nothing fancy, no microphones, no nothing. It was just mounted in a room, and that's what I used. But
I mean, there's comedians I've booked without ever getting a tape because I'm watching them at mics. I'm watching them whatever, So that's the other thing too. It's also relationships too. But like and we've had this talk before, just because you book me on your shows in this city doesn't mean I'm booking you on my shows, because it's also like, what's the quality of the comedy, And that's a big part of it too. As long as if you're doing the work and you're doing well, you're going to get notice in your circle. If you want to get notice outside your circle, you got to have something else that they can know who you are, or go out there.
And what you just described about not necessarily being the kind of person that trades shows, a lot, you have to understand when Jason says that, a lot of that is about what is at stake.
Yeah.
Just because you let Jason go headline your open mic doesn't mean he owes you a gig at Club 337, right?
Yeah.
Like that's what you kind of mean. It's like you have to think about the stakes. Like it's just it is what it is.
But there are producers that book me that I book them because they're good, from New Orleans to Lake Charles, to Houston to Austin. But
don't skip the part where you get good. Too many people are looking for shortcuts, and they're trying to skip the part where you get good.
Here's the deal. If I run Lafayette Comedy. It's just me. I'm on the hook for these shows. At the end of the night, no one has to answer to angry messages or emails or people when they leave, except for me. So if I'm going to book someone, I need you to come in here, and I'm bringing you 150 people on average, a packed room. Everyone's ready to laugh, and if you don't bring it, but if you're not even doing the work to even get to that point, so
and it's not. It doesn't even have to be that kind of like, don't be so stressed out that you're scared to bomb type of situation. That's not what it's about. It's about putting the work in the right way over time and showing improvement. You will get booked.
Yeah, and we had to do that.
Yeah,
I mean,
look at
that's
some people weren't getting booked.
Yeah.
And then they got better, and now they are getting booked. That's how it works.
Going back to where I started, it was like, trying to get on shows. But I have a different philosophy on things. I respect rooms. I respect shows. So for me to walk into a room, for me to walk into the New York Comedy Club or the Stand, I'm very humbled. To do the theater, when we walked into that theater, I'm on my P's and Q's because I'm like, holy crap. I can't believe I'm here. I respect this room, whatever it was, whoever's been there before, I respect the show.
Yeah.
And I'm going to go in there, and I'm not going to half-ass it.
Did you think I was going to do 11 minutes? Fuck no. I'm doing 10 because I was told to do 10.
Yeah, exactly. Well, my watch vibrates at 18. I know I got 2 minutes to wrap it up, and I was in the middle of, horse joke. And I was like,
horse pussy. You can say it.
I got to get out of that. But that's how I am. I respect, like, rooms hold magical things for me. Walking into the Comedy Cellar, just to sit there and watch a show is magical for me. All these places. So when I go there, I'm being respectful. I'm doing everything. But the work before that, it's so much more. And you just got to respect the game,
This was my favorite hack watch we've done so far.
Yeah, I didn't have one.
So much passion we brought.
You notice I was
now.
like, no, I'm good. But here we go. So I think, from now on, we're just doing one person starts a topic and then we riff. So,
all right, man. What are you recommending this week?
Rex. All right. This week's rec is one of my buddies and one of the best dudes I know, Shane Torres, the blue-eyed Mexican.
I watched it.
Produced by Bert Kreischer and
it's on his YouTube channel.
And his wife, is it Leanne? I'm sorry.
Yeah, Leanne Kreischer.
Leanne Kreischer. It's on his channel and Bert's YouTube channel.
I didn't know that. That's awesome.
They put it out on Shane and Bert's, which I don't know how that works.
That's cool though.
Yeah, I mean,
double the views.
So, I mean, I've watched this set for a while. It was good to see, nice and official. It was a weird room, like the backdrop. It looked like he was at like a weird First Baptist church around here, and it was like this weird backdrop. But it didn't take away from the show. But I love Shane Torres, and he is a great comic. What a good hour, and it was nice to see it out there.
What was the name of that venue?
I don't know.
It looked crazy inside, right? I've never seen that venue before.
It
looked pretty cool.
Yeah,
I think it was. Where was it at?
Maybe no. It was in. I think
Brooklyn?
it was in Brooklyn.
Yeah, Brooklyn. Okay, that's right.
Yeah, it was weird enough that I was like, "What?" And then after a while, I was like, "Okay, it was fine," But yeah, so that's my rec this week. Shane Torres, blue-eyed Mexican.
Guy Fieri did nothing wrong.
Yeah, he didn't.
It's an older one.
Yeah. I know the guys. Watch his other one.
All right, my recs this week is 2 brand new podcasts that were just started.
What?
One of them by relatively out of the limelight recently, stand-up comedian Daniel Tosh.
Oh,
and when
I've
podcast,
seen him live.
This podcast
Amazing.
is hilarious.
Okay,
it's not like about comedy, and it's short. So the first episode of Daniel Tosh's new podcast, and I honestly didn't even write down what it was called. I forgot. It might just be called like Tosh or something. But he interviews his wife's gynecologist. I mean, like, that's the kind of podcast it is. So there's few episodes out, but if you're a fan of Tosh, first of all, I think he's one of the best stand-ups, and he's been out of the picture. I don't know if he's not been doing stand-up or what, but he hasn't released material in a long time. No. But I love Tosh. For a while there, I thought he was at the top of the game.
His stand-up was great, and his show was amazing.
Amazing. Yeah. Second podcast, Soder. Dan Soder left the bonfire, got replaced by the glorious Bobby Kelly.
Never heard of him.
And, there's been an uprising. I mean, people love Dan Soder. People love Bobby Kelly, too, but where's Dan been? Well, Dan finally is, he went through the podcast circuit to start promoting his new podcast. It's called Soder. He has several episodes out already. Bobby Kelly, Big J. Okerson, Mark Norman,
Joe List.
And they're all quick 30, 40 minutes, and he releases extra footage later on during the week.
There's the new bonus.
Follow Dan Soder on YouTube. Watch all his stuff. Dan's one of my favorite comedians. Hope to meet him one day. Those are my recs.
Those are rad. Big thanks to our sponsor, Gator Custom Graphics. They are a local, full-service sign shop specializing in banners, wide printing format, and vehicle graphics. From your custom business cards to your storefront, Gator has your sign and printer needs covered. Check them out at Gator Custom Graphics with an X.com, or check them out on Instagram at Gator Custom Graphics.
Hey, I want to give a big thanks to our sponsor, Ounce of Hope Aquaponic Cannabis Company. Ounce of Hope provides high-quality CBD and Delta-8 through an advanced aquaponic system for the utmost in quality products. They also gave me this hat because they know how much balding middle-aged men love hats. They also provided our huge Lafayette comedy banner.
Not balding.
Not who? You? You're lucky. Check them out at ounceofhope.com. Dates, Daddy. Hit me.
All right. So this comes out New Year's Eve or New Year's Day? New Year's Eve?
New Year's Eve day.
All right. January 6th, bringing Stone versus Drunk versus Sober to Lake Charles with old Jacob Guidry going to Library Riot. which is ironic that we're doing a show at Library Riot on January 6th.
We're storming the library.
Storming the library. January 12th, me and you are at the another riot, the Riot in Houston. We're doing You Look Like.
Yeah, and we're hopefully also going to pick up some spots at Secret Group that weekend. Just stay tuned. Follow us.
Me, you, and Ken Edwards, and we're joined by former Lafayette comedian, now dead to us, Joshua Jordan.
Yeah, we're doing Houston versus Lafayette You Look Like contest.
Yeah, it's going to be brutal.
And we are going to murder them dudes. I love Houston, but they ain't ready for this smoke.
Yep, I got to start writing.
Let me tell you.
January...
I got so many Mexican jokes ready, dude.
Oh, boy.
I mean, you know.
Anyway, my guy's wild. January 19th, Lafayette Comedy returns back to Rally Cap Brewing in Baton Rouge. Amazing beer, good people, so good people. That is going to be there. Wonderful show. January 21st, I'll be as Kenny Rogers doing the Ghost Roast at Atmosphere with Oof Comedy. January 22nd, I'm doing something in Lake Charles. I don't know what. I just have it down, but
I bet you it's Kill Tony or not,
the
review.
Murder Anthony.
Unless you're headlining the open mic again.
No, please.
He said, please no.
January 24th, brand new show here in Lafayette at Adopted Dog Brewing.
I don't know why I did that.
Arsenio Hall is hosting. No, on Dulles, awesome brewery. Great beer, great food. We'll be out on the patio. Tickets on sale now. January 25th, I'll be hosting for Laura Kilmartin at the ACA. A wonderful, wonderful comedian. You've seen her on Conan and everything else. That's part of the stand-up comedy series at the Acadiana Center for the Arts. And then January 27th, bringing Stone versus Drunk. The opposite way, we're going to Baton Rouge to the station.
Rouge. First time at the station.
So there's no Stone versus Junk in January in Lafayette, but we're bringing it to Lake Charles on January 6th and Baton Rouge on January 27th. Everything available at LafayetteComedy.com.
All right, I'm going to try to roll through it before we lose the last camera. Obviously, a lot of those... Oh, you didn't say 51st Jokes.
Shit.
January 4th, 51st Jokes at Club 337.
Yes.
January 6th, of course, he talked about Houston, You Look Like. I'll be there, too. We do so many days together. This is silly. However, this is one Jason's not going to be with me for.
Who's the booker?
I will be in Austin.
I will be in
Austin. He lost the camera. I'll be in Austin January 19th, January 20th. I have a spot at the Creek in the Cave at 11 p.m.
Shout out Rebecca.
Rebecca Trent is amazing. I'm trying to pick up some stuff the Friday. Still working on it. Stay tuned. Probably let you guys know about that in the future. Other than that, thetylara.com. Follow me everywhere.
Guys, thank you for sticking around. This is
We're dying down here.
We're dying down here. And one of our cameras died. It's hot in here. But yeah, that's it. Next episode, we'll tell you right now, you're going to get Dave Stone and Jeff Tate. They are coming back. Yeah. Well, they're not coming back, but we'll have that one. We're stupid.
They'll be here for you. Don't look at that camera. That camera's dead. Bye, guys.
Roll the camera. Footage. All right.